Good evening, friends. Today is the last webinar of Samvat year 2081, and of course, I'll come in the new year. And today the mood is Diwali mood, and I know that everyone is in a festive mood. Please enjoy Diwali. But before I begin this webinar, it's a very interesting topic we have. What is the topic? By next Diwali, should we expect boom, gloom, or a gold rush? Why gold rush? Because I would not have otherwise spoken about it. But today I meet everyone. Everyone wants to invest in gold and silver. किसको भी फोन करेगा क्या लगता है गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर. यू मेट समवन इन लिफ्ट, क्या लगता है सुनील भाई गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर का. यू गो ऑन मॉर्निंग वॉक, क्या लगता है गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर. तो आई थिंक एवरीवन हैज बीन सेइंग इज द गोल्ड रश विल कंटिन्यू, नॉट कंटिन्यू बाय नेक्स्ट दिवाली और नॉट. The equity market, very muted performance, to be honest with you. Despite today, Sensex and Nifty touch 52-week high, 1-year high, but it's a very muted kind of a performance. And if that is so, should we expect very similar kind of numbers going forward by next Diwali or not? I'm going to cover all this actually. But before I do that, it's everyone from markets will join me to wish everyone a very, very happy Diwali to you and everyone in your family. We wish a lot of prosperity in the years to come. Only request, please have this Diwali little safe. Please take care of your children around you, because when you fire crackers, sometimes if you are not little careful, injury can happen. But without any hesitation, please celebrate this Diwali. Why I'm saying so? Don't worry about the market. Don't worry about your equity portfolio. And the reason I'm saying so, the reason for that I'll come in my subsequent slides. But remember, we are all going to do extremely well in next 1 year. When we say we as a India, and if that's so, equity should do well. And if so, what should we expect from the equity by next Diwali? So with this, let me start my presentation. So Diwali to Diwali, let's try to recap what happened from last Diwali to this Diwali and try to understand what worked, what did not work, which company performed, which company did not perform, which sector performed, which sector did not perform, so and so forth. If you look at this Sensex graph from last Diwali, where is that graph? Okay. From last Diwali, if you look at it, it started going down, and somewhere in March, we saw some kind of a low. And of course, this what we saw in the month of Jan and Feb has been very, very severe because of tariff. But then market we saw is very smart rally. Then we are consolidating, and as I speak to you, we are at 52-week high. Am I right? So market very volatile, very choppy. Not all sectors participated, and whatever sector that participated, gain has been little limited. If I have to look at the last Diwali to this Diwali, the overall India's market cap, it would be down. Why it's down? Because the small cap did not perform as much as we would love to do that. If you look at it, what happened? The Nifty 50 is up by 6.1%. The Sensex is up by 6.1%. Let me just... oh God. Okay, 5.6% Sensex. Midcap has a very muted returns of 0.9, and the BSE small cap was down by 4%. BSE 500 is up by 3.7%. In other words, from last Diwali to this Diwali, FD would have given you better returns as compared to the equity. But the gold and silver has been the outstanding by all means. Outstanding matlab super duper returns. Why? 68.3% return by gold and 79.3% return by silver. Now the question that comes to mind, कल धनतेरस से लेना क्या नहीं लेने का? Should we buy gold? Should we buy silver? Normally I buy gold and I buy some silver also. The gold I buy through ETF, and silver I buy the coin, and I'll tell you what I do actually. in Mumbai there is a Mahalakshmi temple near Bhulava Desai Road. So I visit there, and then Mahalakshmi temple, they have this silver coin. They basically sell. So I normally go on Dhanteras and buy that. And I'm going to do exactly the same. But since tomorrow markets are not open, I will not be able to buy ETF. So maybe on Tuesday when then there's a Muhurat Soda, I will buy only for token. I must tell you that I have been selling ETF, something at 95, something at 105. I'll again sell at 110 today. I thought it will go, it did not go. And other one at 120, 5% each of my original, this one. So that's what I'm going to do. And why I'm going to do that, why I'm saying so, I'll come to that little later part of that. What did well? Had you invested in Bajaj Finance last Diwali? It's up by 55%. Maruti Suzuki, 49%. Bharat Electronics, 47%. So there is a trend that you can see. Bharti Airtel, 24%. What is the trend there? You see a company from BFSI segment and you see company from the auto sector. For example, Bajaj Finance is a BFSI. If you look at Kotak Mahindra Bank is a BFSI. Bajaj Finserv is a BFSI. If you look at auto, Maruti Suzuki is an auto, Eicher is an auto, M&M is an auto. Am I right? And there's another good thing which has happened. If you look at each and every company in this space, they have more domestic focus. Bajaj Finance is domestic. Maruti Suzuki, of course, it does exports, but most of its revenue comes from this. Bharat Electronics, defense, this one domestic. Eicher domestic, Eternal Zomato domestic, M&M domestic, Kotak Mahindra Bank domestic, Bharti Airtel has also an operation South Africa, so on so on, but the most of the revenue comes from JSW, so again focus on domestic, and Bajaj Finserv domestic. So what really played out well is a domestic performance, which did not do well. I think that's where we need to be very, very careful. You know, that there is something called recency bias. Trend down by 1/3. Again, it's a domestic play. Zudio, which was supposed to be the darling of the customers and consumers, I think the number that came out for the September, not the number, the business updates, not so very great. Am I right? So that's where it basically took this one. IndusInd Bank, purely because of the challenge. So while Kotak Mahindra Bank did well, IndusInd Bank did not do well from last year. This Diwali purely because of issues with the corporate governance. TCS, no wonder. I think the complete IT space is a completely challenging time. I would not be surprised if we see more IT companies even by next Diwali. TCS down by 24%, Tata Motors down by 21%, Infosys down by 18%, NTPC down by 16%, HCL Tech. And again IT, Asian Paints and Adani Enterprise. So where things were not so great, I think it has really played out very well. Of course, Adani had his own issue in terms of some allegations on corporate governance, and it did play out. Asian Paints, because of the heavy competition coming in, and it's really played out. The one key theme I wanted to tell everyone, what has worked is not going to work going forward. Whether that applies to sector, that applies to companies. And sometimes we become too much optimistic on the growth driver for the company or the sector, we end up buying at the top of the price, and then we really pay very, very heavy price. And that's exactly what has happened. If you look at some of the companies like Trent, if you look at company like Asian Paints, Adani Enterprises, I think things did not work out the way it should work out for this company's investors. This is Nifty 50. Let's expand the scope to the BSE 500. Something like Othap Investment up by 94%, L&T Finance up by 84%, Manappuram Finance 83%, JSW Holding 82%. Here again, very clearly is in BFSI space. Why? Otham is in BFSI, L&T Finance BFSI, Manappuram is a BFSI, JSW Holding is nothing but the holding company for the JSW Group. Is that in a way it's a BFSI, RBL Bank BFSI, Muthoot Finance is a BFSI, Maharashtra Scooters again is a BFSI. Why I'm saying so? Because it's a holding company, not a holding company, but it has a stake in Bajaj Auto. So it's more like a BFSI, purely because of investment it has done well. Which did not do well. Some of the renewable did not do well. Praj struggling because of the ethanol episode. Relaxo Footwear, again, one company which was darling of one of the leading market experts, struggling to do that. Natco has its own challenge in terms of its product pattern experience, so on and so forth. And Aditya Birla real estate down by 40%. So there's a big mixed bag. But company like Vedant Fashions was anyway commanding very rich valuations, and with competitors coming in, we could see what happened there. Which sector did well from last Diwali to this Diwali? Auto has been the outstanding, followed by the BFSI. Whether you look at Nifty Finance, PSU Bank, Bank Nifty, consumption is made a very strong comeback, and I think by next Diwali it can continue to sustain the gain. Which did not do well? Realty did not do well. FMCG has been struggling, -4%, and IT is a bottom of the table with 14%. I think it's been a very disaster a year for the IT services company. Before I go to equity, will gold and silver continue to boom? And this is one question that has been very pertinent. Everyone wants to know, so should you buy this Diwali gold and silver, or gold or silver, either one? So gold, lot of things has been written by the gold. Because of rate of interest are going to come down. In fact, there was one theory, I don't know you people remember, that gold story is over. Why it was over? Because people said bitcoins have come. So those who are investing in gold, now they've invested in Bitcoin, the gold will perpetually be the underperformer. But that's not the case actually. Right? So many times some story you will listen on the social media and so on and so forth. Don't get carried away. My request to all of you is that. Okay? Look at fundamentally things are happening. So today I'll spend more time on the silver than the gold. The reason I'm saying so, why? And I'll also tell you whether you should buy gold or silver or none. That's also I'll tell you. The reason I'm saying silver, because silver in last few days, not last few days, but last few weeks has gone substantially well. So why is that silver has gone so well? The problem is there is a hoarding happening. I don't know how many people have heard about Hunt Brothers, which happened in 1979 and 1980, where they basically hoarded a lot of silver, manipulated the silver prices, and then even that company eventually went bankrupt actually. And why this hoarding has happened? Because there is a fear that the tariff will get levied. A lot of silver moved from the Europe to the US just to beat the tariff. At one point of time, there was a huge difference between the silver UK silver and the New York silver. Why? Because there was no delivery नहीं था, किसके पास माल ही नहीं है, inventory नहीं है, and that has been easing as I speak to you. Solar demand is driving a silver demand. Why? Because in solar, silver is needed, and more solar cells are being manufactured. More and more demand for the silver. Supply is not able to match. The only thing which is going to increase the supply is that people have started looking at the silverware to sell in the market. So today a friend of mine called up. In fact, he called me yesterday evening. I said I'll return the phone call, and I forgot. And today afternoon I realized I had to return his call. I called him and he was saying, Sunil bhai, I have a lot of silver with me. Should I sell it? And this is what he was saying. And actually, so this kind of, now people have started thinking कि जो silver पड़ा हुआ है घर पे, should I start selling or not? I think that's going to increase the supply. So what would happen? The primary supply is not going to increase substantially, but the secondary supply will go up. Now, because of silver price gone up, high probability that solar manufacturing companies will also have a problem. So they might also slow down in terms of their manufacturing this one. Number 3, silver has gone up because inflationary hedge. दिमाग में एक है कि gold and silver are good hedge against the inflation, and hence people are buying. Now people are also buying from an investment point of view. Another 4th reason is that geopolitical tension. Whenever there is a geopolitical tension, people want to shift to the bullion. Why? It has a global exchange value. and hence people go to, that's why silver moved up. Another 3 reasons, total 7 reasons are there. Expensive equity market. This is more so in the US market, where the US market did extremely well, and people are thinking, should we put more money into equity or not? Then why not just, so when you think you don't want to put money into one asset class, you have a liquidity, you start thinking of other assets class, and that's exactly what has happened with the silver. People are putting, in fact, silver was not so prominent investment class, I must tell you that also. But suddenly it's getting a lot of attention. People want to now explore silver as an assets class. Rising gold prices. When gold goes out of your budget, people now they बस second best option क्या बोलते हैं, डाउन ट्रेडिंग बोलते हैं अपने में, FMCG में बोलते हैं ना. People have started doing down trading even in the bullion. Gold buy नहीं कर पाए, let's buy the silver, and that's another reason why silver price is going up. And of course, the low, whenever the interest rate is low, normally bullion does extremely well, and so is the case with silver. Now, when I look at this data, silver last 1 month is up by 25-26%. 3 months 7 to 71%. 6 months 80 to 87%. Of course, gold did not see this kind of a rally in such a short period of time, and that's the reason I thought let me first talk about the silver. Now, when I look at 20 years, it's always good to see the zoom out. The gold in last 20 years in USD is given 11.5% return. Silver at the same time in USD is given 9.2% return. So it is given less returns. We are Indians and we have to always look at the returns in rupee. Am I right? Because the rupee depreciates against the dollar. The rupee, this comes out to 15.3 and this comes out to 13.7. During the same period, Nifty has given 12.36%. What does this mean is that the gold did better than silver and silver did better than the Nifty 50. So now the question comes, if I have to take 20 years view, will gold and silver be the same? Of course, people say we can take 20 years view, but I've seen people don't have even patience for 1 year. And I'm going to present the data in my webinar in this, the portfolio that I presented, Diwali portfolio in 2021, what happened to that portfolio by Diwali 2022, and what kind of question I was receiving at that point of time. So 20 years view तो बहुत difficult हो जाता है because things are very dynamic. But there is a very famous saying, past performance no indicator of future returns, isn't it? And that exactly we'll see what happens there. In the recent past, silver has come under pressure. If you look at some of the silver last 4 days, minus 7%, minus 5%. While the equity market moved up in last 5 days, the silver has taken some amount of beating. But yes, in last 1 year, almost everyone given about 80 to 82% return in the silver. So question comes, should we buy gold and silver? Barabar kya nahi, sir? My request to all of you, look at gold and silver as a part of your strategic allocation. Am I right? What is the strategic allocation? What percentage of my net worth is into bullion? And that's the way you should look at it. You should never ever invest because you have a view on the price of the gold and silver. Because it also gives you as a shock absorber during the bad time, gold and silver. So what I have done, I have put it 15% of my total net worth into gold and silver. So you should do something very similar. But now you will have questions. The gold and silver are also a commodity. They are also an assets class, and they have assets classes is own ups and downs. Am I right? Because people always believe that gold and silver is given always positive returns, which is not true. We have seen period where gold has underperformed. We have seen period where silver has underperformed. But हमारा recency bias होता है, जो चला है वो चलने वाला है, and hence we want to put more. So they are also in a inherent cycle, and hence what has gone up is likely to come down. And when you see the upside little more fast, downside is also equally fast. That holds true for equity, that holds true for share price of an individual company, that holds true for real estate, and that also holds true for gold and silver. So what need to do now? If you have 15% allocation, avoid chasing gold and silver. 15% आपका एसेट allocation है, don't chase gold and silver. That's what my request to all of you. But the question comes then, am I right? What is the question comes? कि my allocation is more than 15%. What should I do? Please trim it down the way I am trimming it down. Do not increase your allocation to gold and silver. Of course, जो सुकन का लेना है वो ले लेना, धन तेजस को. But don't buy as an investment purpose. But if your allocation is below 15%, am I right? If your allocation is below 15%, please start buying in a staggered manner. Don't go aggressive and start buying it in an aggressive manner. Now the question comes to mind. Suppose if I below 15%, should I buy gold or should I buy silver? That's a very fair question. Am I right? I'll give a very. So my job is to make you more smarter, so that I don't come in front of you every time. Okay. There is a famous ratio called gold-silver ratio. What is gold-silver ratio? Is nothing but how many times the 1 ounce of silver, how many times 1 ounce of gold can buy 1 ounce of silver. Right now the ratio is 80. How did I get that number? Is nothing but in the numerator you put gold per ounce in a dollar terms and silver per ounce in a denominator. Of course, if you do in rupee also, it will work out very similar. Normally the median is 60. So right now it's at 80. So whenever, that means you need 80 times of 1 ounce of silver to buy 1 ounce of gold, which means that gold is trading at a premium as compared to the silver. In that case, if my allocation is less than 15%, I should first give preference to the silver, not to the gold at this point of time. Why? Because the ratio is 80. In other words, in next 12 to 24 months, silver will outperform the gold. The reason I told you I am selling my gold purely because of this. When should you start buying gold? When the ratio becomes 40 to 50. At that point of time, the probability is very high that silver will underperform and gold will outperform. So today, if your allocation is less than 15%, please buy silver as compared to gold. But having said that, please buy that in a staggered manner. Why? Because there is a lot of run-up that we have seen in silver. So maybe you can do more of an SIP kind of stuff. Now the question comes, should I buy silver utensils? Answer is no. Please, आप लोगों को शायद पता नहीं होगा, the maximum मिलावट happens in silver. मैं आपको एक रिक्वेस्ट करता हूँ आप लोग सबको. Have you ever sold your silver utensils or silver jewelry? एक बार बेच के आपको पता चलेगा उसमें कितना प्योरिटी है. वो जो BI स्टैंडर्ड है 916, वो सब बेवकूफ़ सिल्वर में होता ही नहीं ऐसा कुछ. एंड नाउ दे हैव स्टार्टेड, गवर्नमेंट ऑल्सो बिकम रियलाइज दिस एंड दे विल डू दैट. इनफैक्ट मेनी गोल्ड कॉइन दैट और सिल्वर कॉइन दैट यू हैव मे एक्चुअली हैव ए जीरो वैल्यू. आई मस्ट टेल यू दैट, बिकॉज उसके ऊपर सिर्फ सिल्वर का फॉइल लगा हुआ है, उसके अंदर जो है कुछ अलग ही मेटल है. सो ट्राई सेलिंग दैट एंड यू विल रियलाइज दैट एक्चुअली. सो माई रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑल ऑफ यू, प्लीज बाय silver ETF. Do not buy silver in a physical form, in terms of utensils, in terms of chain or kara or whatever you want to. Don't do that actually. How gold is moved some month here to some month here. So हम लोग 2028 2081 चल रहा है. 2 दिन के 3 दिन के बाद 2082 संवत चालू हो जाएगा. So what has happened? I wanted to show you some data here. whenever gold goes up in a row, 4-5 years in a row, normally then it underperforms. And look at here, पे 6 साल था, 3 साल फिर underperform नीचे गया. यहाँ पे चला वापस नीचे चला गया, 3 साल ऊपर चला वापस नीचे चला गया. Here is a 4 year. Look at the quantum of growth, 43%, 66%. So there is too much jump that has happened, and that's the reason I believe that gold can underperform versus the silver. And hence I'm not suggesting you to buy gold as an investment purpose. Again I say, from Sukhan purpose, please go ahead and buy silver or gold, but in a very limited quantity. Now let's switch equity. Boom or gloom? And I'm saying it's going to be a boom. Why am I saying so? Last 1 year, India Inc. has struggled in terms of corporate earnings. But this is going to change by next Diwali. Why am I saying so? Look at this Nifty 50 estimates for FY 2027. The FY 2027, the Nifty 50 is likely to grow by 18.2%. In FY 2028, it will further go up by 15.17%. In other words, we are looking at 2 years in a row, strong earnings growth. Now you may think, अरे यार ये तो FY 2027 है, but by next Diwali, the market would be discounting FY 2000 earnings, not this FY 2000, because that will be in a real manner. Okay, so that's the thing. So that's what's going to happen. So why this is very critical. Remember, the one reason you would be surprised to know that India is the worst performing equity market globally in 2025. 2025, Hindustan ka, despite India's GDP is growing handsomely. Am I right? And one of the big reason is that corporate earnings was not there. If you remember, I keep saying in my webinar, there are two things which is needed in the market to sustain the rally. Number one, the growth in earnings, and number two, the liquidity. If one is there and other is not there, that journey will not be very smooth. अगर corporate earnings है लेकिन liquidity नहीं है, market will not move up. Of course, eventually growth in earnings will bring in the liquidity. But if there is a liquidity, but there is no growth in earnings, market can't sustain. Why? Because the valuation becomes little expensive. In new Samvat year, we are going to see not only the growth in earnings, but growth in liquidity also. You would be surprised to know that in last 5 days, FPIs have invested almost 9,000 crore. Indian equity market. In October, they become turn positive for the market. Am I right? But that's not the only reason. There are other factors which are going to drive the equity market. So I'm going to put 5 catalysts which is going to make the market extremely bullish by next Diwali. And you can hold me accountable for this. You can hold me accountable for this. That's the reason. The reason I'm so much confident, because the reason I'm saying so, because I'm very confident about the equity market. The reason number one, whenever the rate of interests are low, equity market is done well. The 100 bips rate cut which has happened from RBI is going to boost the capex cycle, is going to boost the consumption cycle, is going to boost the private capex which has not been there in this, and is going to create a very virtuous circle in the market. So when rate of interest goes down, people think of equity as an asset class as a better option. Why? Because वो fixed deposit पर interest ज़्यादा मिलता नहीं है. फिर आदमी सोचता है अगर नहीं मिलता तो let me put this money into equity. अगर आपको FD 9-10% देता है, you don't have a reason to come to equity. बोलता है काहे के लिए इतना झंझट लेना है? Why do you have to run a risk of a capital also? Let me put money. So when the rate of interest are high, equity does not do well. But when equity, the rate of interest are low, equity will do well. But that's not the only one reason. Let me go to the second reason. This time, combo package hai. The consumption is driven by not only rate of interest but the tax also, am I right? And GST rate cut has happened. उसका बेनिफिट अभी तक दिखा नहीं है भाई, बिकॉज इट्स ओनली हैपन ऑन 22 सितंबर, अभी तो 1 महीना भी नहीं हुआ है. उसका अर्निंग्स में बड़ा तगड़ा नंबर दिखने वाला है in the second half of FY 2026. And again, it's going to be a game changer for the India Inc. and the market. Number 3, story doesn't work, the end there. I talk about the liquidity. FPI, which has been aggressive seller, has to warmed up to the Indian equity market purely because they also now realize that earnings growth आने वाला है. अगर earnings growth आने वाला है तो instead of waiting, when they see actually earnings growth, they'll start pumping. You'll be surprised to know that till now the results which has come till today, the quarter-on-quarter net profit growth is 5%. It's in excess of 5%, between 5 to 6%. And Y-on-Y, it's at 11%. So that is already happening. And FPI will come back very strongly. So that liquidity of domestic is there. सोने पे सुहागा, FPI का भी liquidity आ जाएगा. And that will, two things, corporate earnings and liquidity, deadly combo, which will, वो रॉकेट कैसे चलता है दिवाली में वैसे चलने वाला है. इनकम टैक्स बेनिफिट, 12 लाख का इनकम, नो इनकम टैक्स. And that's another reason the market should do extremely well. Why? Because the consumption theme will play out extremely well. People are not realizing this, but that's the one thing which is going to play out extremely well. And of course, as I told you, the RBI, if you remember, Shaktikanta Das, the RBI governor, was sucking out the liquidity from the system. And one reason was very obvious, because a lot of unsecured credit was going in the floating in the market. The new RBI governor has been very, very clear cut. He said there are CRR cut which are already done. They are putting in more liquidity, and when the liquidity happen and improves in the market, it's a lubricant that helps economy to grow faster, and that's happening. If I have to put it, 6 factors which are going to make equity market better than the other rest of the market: growth in earnings, falling interest rate, GST cut, income tax rebate, FPI coming back very strongly, and RBI taking all the measures to keep enough liquidity in the system so that we don't run out of we don't run into a problem of a liquidity. So, gold versus equity, my first preference is out and out equity by next Diwali. The equity should do extremely well as compared to gold, in silver also. Even though I am saying silver do better than gold, but between equity and silver, equity will do better than the silver. So what you should be doing as a strategy, increase allocation to the equity. There's another factor which is going to play out extremely well for India, because India is an importer of crude oil. And if you look at the EIA forecast, the crude oil will be $52 in 2026, they are saying. India will save, India ka average cost hoga $70-75 in the 2025. Remember, it will go down 52. Goldman Sachs is saying 56 and JP Morgan is saying 58. So it's not only I am saying so. I think there are 3 important institutes which are saying that crude will come down. When crude comes down, India gets 3 benefits. What are 3 benefits? Your inflation is under control, because India imports inflation. Number 2, your demand for dollars comes down. That means the rupee has become less volatile. And number 3, inflation is less. So your fiscal deficits are a little less. So and because of that, you have more money to spend on the other productive assets. So a lot of positive factors going for equity. I know equity has not done well. Recency bias is there, but don't get carried away by that. The law of average should come in and we should do extremely well. Before we open the floor for question answer, I wanted to tune your psychology. If you remember, on those days I used to give recommendations on companies also. I had recommended 3 companies in Diwali 2021 portfolio, and that is the number. You can see this 3 lakh दिया था, and assume that you invested 1 lakh each. I just for the simplicity equal amount 3 lakh था, and I have a habit, very bad habit. Okay, what I stated, let's see next year what happens. That is actually happen or not. And this is the slide I've taken from my 2022 presentation. You can see the recommended price, and that at 2022 price, what was the price? Everything was down. 26% LTTS down, endurance was 26% down, and Vatek Wabak was down by 16%. And overall portfolio was down by 22%. Assume that we invested 1 lakh each in that, what I've shown in the previous slide. Lot of people ask me, 22% तो portfolio नीचे है. We would be lucky ourselves if we make money out of this. मतलब पैसा capital भी आएगा तो we'll be happy. And many people I remember got out of this. Please be honest with me. Had you invested in Diwali 2021, how many companies you are holding till now also? First, all 3 कितने हैं? कितने 2 ही रखे, कितने 1 ही रखी है? And when I fast forward in 2025, the same portfolio is up by, the value is 6.91, is up by 130%, and BSE final is only up by 51%. A portfolio which was down by 22% in 1 year, the next 3 years it did so well that from 21% को तो cover कर लिया उसने, and is up by 130%. One mindset I want to tell everyone, please, never ever look at equity from 1 year, 2 year perspective. Take it little long term. Make equity, make power of compounding as your friend. But unfortunately, we are too much. In fact, in this instant world, we become little impatient. And I must tell you one more disclosure. If you remember, I had stated in 2021 that I myself has invested in all 3 companies. I'm making a disclaimer again. I continue to hold all 3 companies even as on today. And that's the reason I'm saying so. The reason for you to buy that company, has it undergone change or not? If the answer is yes, please get out, whether it's you are in profit or loss. But the reason for you to buy that company has not undergone change, there is no reason why you should get out. Remember, there is one company still negative, minus 12% hai. But Vatek Wabak is 344% up, Endurance is 58% up, and due to that 130% gain is there in the portfolio. Am I right? And which is significantly more than double, 100% double उसने outperform कर दिया है. Had you invested in any mutual fund scheme also at that point of time and continue to hold, I don't think you would have made this kind of a money. So limited point. My job is to tell you what is right for you. अगर आपकी नसीब में होगा, आप समझदारी दिखाओगे तो पैसा बढ़ाएगा, नहीं होगा तो you lose money. Am I right? With this, I must tell you the last slide before I open the floor. I have taken Sensex returns every Samvat year. And look at it. ये 55% is nothing but 2008 वाला Samvat year. Am I right? But 19 साल का जो डेटा है यहाँ पे, only 4 times the Sensex has given negative returns. What does this say? That when you invest during Diwali time and you continue to hold till the next Diwali time, of course there will be in the income there will be volatility. Probability is very high that you will make money. And that's exactly what has happened in Samvat year 2081, which is one which is going on right now. You still made 6%. And second thing, if you look at the last 10 years or so, even if you lose money, the lose money is minus 4% and minus 1%. Very, very nominal. So downside risk is low, upside return is high. So is this a good time to invest in the equity market? Diwali is normally a very good time to invest in the equity market. Normally you see this return, this data gives you an idea. With this, let's open the floor for question answer. Basil, please. Umakant Samant sir, wish you very happy Diwali. Happy Diwali to you too, sir, and everyone in your family. Do you think we missed the opportunity in making good money in the gold and silver rally? I think you mean to say we in the sense PMS. The answer is yes, because our mandate is not there to invest in gold and silver. If you look at our disclosure document, we don't have that. But what was my job? I did come in front of you and when to invest. If we go back to my equity outlook 2025, I did mention that gold and silver should do better than the equity. Am I right? When I did on 1st July 2025, I mention that not will silver rally will continue or not? And I did say yes, it will continue. Do you think too much focus only on equity instead of bullion? We follow your advice blindly. So what is your view? Sir, I've given my view now. 15% assets allocation in gold and in bullion. Don't have a view on that. 3 to 5 years into fixed income instruments just to meet any emergency, and the rest of the money should go into equity. That's how you should do your assets allocation. And when you do this kind of an assets allocation, probability of you going wrong is very, very low. Of course, you need to be a little sensible in terms of what script you get into and so on and so forth. But in terms of assets allocation, probability is very low that you will go wrong. But once again, a happy Diwali, Ubakan sir. Rao sir, good evening Sunilji. What is your opinion now on FI? Can they turn positive by the year end? Yes sir. The reason is very simple, because they are sensing that this government is committed to do reforms. And I must tell you, the reforms are not done yet. We should expect more reforms from the government in next 1 month. More reforms will come. And it will come. Whatever is done is still not done. Second thing, growth in earnings is going to come back very strongly. And FPI will come, because they need to see, remember, the law of average has to come in, am I right? So for some reason, if the US market starts showing some amount of softness, which it will, some money will flow to the Indian equity market from that. And hence, I'm extremely positive they will come very back. And they will come with a bang, in fact. They are not going to come and trickle down. They will come with big, big amount. And will deploy 2 lakh plus? Of course, sir, they will deploy. So what is going to happen? Sir, क्या तो हिंदुस्तान में एक चीज दिखा है, जब मार्केट खराब होता है ना, पीपल डोंट वांट टू पुट मनी. सो डीआई का जो इनफ्लो भी अभी ना थोड़ा कम हो गया है. इनफैक्ट जैसे मार्केट बढ़ेगा ना, मोर मनी इज गोइंग टू फ्लो इन. So they will have enough money to available. So they are waiting 2 lakh crore, which is sitting on sideline. Not only that money will come, but more money is available at the FDI. That will also come to the equity market. So as I told you, liquidity plus growth in earnings, Rausa, both is going to come very strongly in Samvat year 2082. तो आप देखोगे ये बहुत डेडली कॉम्बिनेशन है और इससे पैसा बहुत बनने वाला है. Kasiva says, stay blessed, healthy and happy throughout. Thanks a lot, sir, for your blessings and for your wishes. Thanks a lot, sir. My wishes to you. Frank sir, hello Sunil bhai, very happy Diwali to you. Through the 5 universal virtues, peace, wisdom, compass and worthiness, may all your years be filled with radiance, and may the auspicious light of righteousness illuminate every endeavor. Have a very happy Diwali and very happy prosperous New Year. Thanks a lot, Frank sir, and to my wishes to sir, to you and everyone in the family. Can I request you, Basaj? I know people would have sent the Diwali greetings, but let's put the questions. Sorry if I'm not taking your wishes. I'll definitely go through that little later. But let's take the questions, because otherwise हमारा time greetings में ही चला जाएगा. Abhijit sir, we are not introducing Diwali portfolio. Sir, हमारा problem क्या हो रहा है? I'll tell you. 2 साल पहले जो पोर्टफोलियो दिवाली पोर्टफोलियो दिया था, अभी भी पब्लिक बोलते हैं उसमें क्या करने का. 3 मॉडल पोर्टफोलियो है, 5 इन्फिनिटी स्ट्रेटेजी है, 8 हो गया, 2 पीएमएस पोर्टफोलियो 10 हो गया. अभी कस्टमर हमको पूछते हैं पैसा किधर से लेके आए अगर आप 11वां पोर्टफोलियो दोगे तो दिवाली के लिए. और वो तो चल रहा है जो दिवाली पोर्टफोलियो जो 2 साल पहले वाला जो 2023 वाला वो चल रहा है. एक स्पेशल हम लोग ने पावर सीरीज किया था, मैं और मोहित ने, समवेयर इन आई एम नॉट एबल टू रिकलेक्ट, इन द मंथ ऑफ मार्च और अप्रैल 2025 में. वो चल रहा है. हाउ मेनी पोर्टफोलियो पीपल से भाई पैसा नहीं आप पोर्टफोलियो दे रहे हो. एक ने तो कस्टमर को जोकिंग नहीं मिला, सर थोड़ा पैसा भिजवा दो हमारे पास, हम इन्वेस्ट करना चाहते हैं आपके पोर्टफोलियो. तो नो सर, वी आर नॉट रिकमेंडिंग एनी न्यू पोर्टफोलियो during Diwali time, but we wanted to give you a sense of which direction market is going to go, and that's what exactly I'm doing, sir. Said sir, namaskar Sunil, thank you for your hand holding you do for Mojo. My question is, do the ETF companies buy physical silver? Of course sir, they need to buy, otherwise they will run out of the problem. Like Government of India is running into a problem when they issue the SGB. They don't have gold, so now there is a mark to market, so they will have to do that, of course, and by law they need to do the physical silver. They need to keep it, otherwise what is the backing of that NAV? So they do have that, sir. So if your question is that will AMC will run into a problem because of silver going up, no sir, they are properly taken care, they've hedged actually, so they will not run into a problem. Bandari sir, Nifty is still intake or going to revise it? No sir, I'm not going to revise it. It remains the same, sir. If I'm going to change it, I'll come in front of you, sir. But right now, I don't see any reason to change it. Rahul Kumar sir, gold and silver ETFs are trading at premium to 15% to the NAV. What should be done? I don't think the gold is trading at 15%, sir. Silver was, I think, it's now come down to the reasonable level. So if you, I don't know whether you noticed, Rahul Kumar sir, I've shown last 4 days silver ETF prices. Something has gone down to 7%, something has gone down to 1%. Logically, everyone should be the same, am I right? So those who are trading at premium is now basically coming down to this. So that's why I said, if you remember my word, time to increase exposure to silver, but in a staggered manner. SIP kar lo, I think that's one best way you can do that. And hence, I'm suggesting staggered manner, but please go and buy. But don't buy everything at one go. Rathi sir is saying, please suggest sectors like you do well in 2 years. सर मैं कोई इतना विजन इनको 2 साल का देख सकता हूँ, लेकिन नेक्स्ट 1 ईयर क्या होगा, 2026 में क्या होगा, मैं आपको बताऊंगा सर, डेफिनेटली बताऊंगा. प्लीज ज्वाइन मी ऑन 1st January 2026. आई एम गोइंग टू डू ए वेबिनार ऑन इक्विटी आउटलुक फॉर 2026. आई एम लुकिंग एट इट कि ये क्या बोलते हैं, कौन सा दिन है 1st January 2026 को. मंडे तो नहीं है ना, संडे तो नहीं है ना, इट्स अ थर्सडे. So 1st January 2026, I'm going to tell you which sectors will do well for next 1 year, sir. Rathi sir, please come and join me in that 1st January. मोबासिल सर, नमस्कार. निफ्टी मिड कैप और निफ्टी स्मॉल कैप के EPS ग्रोथ का क्या एक्सपेक्टेशन है नेक्स्ट FY 2027 FY 2080 के लिए? सर द डेटा इज नॉट रेडीली अवेलेबल विथ मी. आई जस्ट ट्राई टू फाइंड आउट क्या है. तो मैं सर आप मेरी नेक्स्ट वेबिनार में मैं डेफिनेट बताता हूँ FY 2027 और 2028 का क्या EPS ग्रोथ एक्सपेक्टेशन है दोनों के लिए, मिड और स्मॉल कैप के लिए. Where do you see earnings growth maximum best among the different sectors? So Jacob said there are few sectors I think banks should do extremely well. BFSI, the consumption, that FMCG pack should do well, cement should do well, steel should do well, refineries should do well. And these are the big sectors. The profits are very bulky. They should do extremely well, sir. So what I'll do, sir, when I come in 1st January 2026, which is nothing but 2.5 months away from now, I'll give you a detailed analysis on that. Which sector will do well, why they should do well, and so on and so forth. So you get a flavor of that actually. So, and of course, market normally rewards those sectors where they see the growth in earnings. So it's very obvious which sector should see the growth in earnings. And when I say this sector will do well in 2026, that means the growth in earnings would be there in those sectors only. Shibu sir is saying, very nice, sir, I'm still holding LTTS but profit is only 2%. We take Vavak sold at 56%, regards. सर यही तो बोलता हूँ ना, पेशेंस बहुत बड़ी चीज़ होती है सर. And Shibu sir, if you remember, a lot of people have many times asked me, do I still hold? And I said, yes, I'm still holding. That makes all the difference. So I'll tell you, your money making in the equity market is not a function of your entry. It is a function of entry and exit. I can give you tip today to buy a one company, okay? And some will make loss in that company, someone will make profit but very nominal, and someone will make super duper profits. Same company invest at the same amount of time, but someone would get exit a little early, someone would basically exit a wrong time, and someone will have a patience and will not sell and will make super duper returns. So, बस किसी ने सर, तो you are still holding LTTS, so that means you are holding only one company. Endurance also, you got out of it. That's what happened. And Vatek Baba, anyway, you sold at 56%, you must have made gain. You did not mention when did you get out. But कोई कुछ ने लिखा है कि they are holding still 3 companies. The reason I wanted to tell you, wanted to give you the live example, because कभी-कभी लाइफ में ना आदमी के दिमाग में लाइव एग्जाम्पल जल्दी जाता है. And that exactly I wanted to tell you that how it happens. So I made money, but Shibu sir did not make the same amount of money that I made money, even though we both must have entered at the same point of time. And that's the difference I want to tell you. That in equity market, you need to have the patience, but provided you know why you bought that company. And if you know the reason, if there is no change the reason, there is no reason why you should get out of that company. वसील किसी ने बोला है कि उनके पास सब कंपनी है, तीन कंपनी है. हाँ, चेक कर लिए. तब लेट्स टेक द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. Why don't you author a book on a very expensive of the stock market? So it's a good suggestion. Writing a book, you need a lot of time and energy, to be very honest with you. And Harsat sir, you should once actually see how my days are scheduled. Very difficult, sir. वो book लिखने के लिए you need a complete different frame of mind. And I was a journalist, so I know, writing book takes a lot of efforts and a lot of this one. I may write. I'm not saying I'll not, but I don't think I'm at a stage at this point of time where I'll be able to write a book on the stock market. But the kind of experience I have, the kind of cycles I've seen, the kind of anecdotes I have, I think it would be a very interesting reading as and when I write the book. I don't intend to write in next 5 years, that was first, because I don't intend to retire in next 5 years at least. So, and of course, I don't think I'll ever retire in my life, but anyway, no one knows what happens beyond 5 years. So, sir, no agenda at this point of time, but if you ask me in my bucket list, is it there? Yes, it is there. But thanks for your suggestion. Venkat Ramanson, happy Diwali. Have we survived Trump and IT wave completely? तो ट्रम्प वेव तो सर हो गया, आज 52 वीक हाई पे चल रहा है सेंसेक्स एंड निफ्टी. तो आईटी वेव थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट. सो आई बी वेरी, so द मोर आई रीड एंड मोर आई लुक एट द एआई, मुझे लगता है थोड़ा एआई विल बी मोर डिस्ट्रक्टिव, बिकॉज ये जो टेक्नोलॉजी है थोड़ा हटके टेक्नोलॉजी है, एंड दैट विल मेक मेनी बिजनेसेस, मेनी कोडर्स रिडंडेंट. Just for your information, I don't know whether Mohit, when he was there yesterday or day before yesterday, did he mention about this. In Markets Mojo now, all the code would be written only by the AI, and then someone will sue. So this AI tools are so powerful. It can do complex job in a shorter period of time. And the best part, that's an error free. And sometimes, the way it does it, it is much better than a human can do it. So it's going to be very, very destructive. My worry is that IT as a sector may be heading for a tough time if they don't basically handle this AI episode very well. And I'm afraid not all companies are geared to do that. So I don't think we are IT wave ka thoda more wait and watch. Will I increase my allocation to IT sector as of now? Answer is no. If you would have asked me 2 months back, I must have said yes, but not now. Rishikesh sir, when setting a watch list, is it possible to import a list of companies, for example, all stocks in the Nifty 500 index? If not, maybe the feature could be helpful. To Rishikesh sir, I don't know whether this feature is available or not, but if it is not available, I'll ask my team to see the feasibility of that. In case it is available, I'll ask, not very sure, sir. So I think the time has come that in India, the government should allow the REIT in the residential also. And if they can allow that, I think it will be very, very helpful. But I think it should do well. INVIT, I'm not very sure from the investment point of view. REIT, I'm little hopeful. Which silver ETF or gold ETF company can we buy? Kindly guide us. Okay. What I have done in my personal, I'll tell you, sir. But because the gold ETF I've been buying for many, many years now, many, many decades, you can say so. So I buy Nippon Gold Biz for gold ETF, and I bought HDFC Silver ETF. If you want, you can do the same thing, sir. But more or less returns would be very similar over a 1 year, 3 year, 5 years period time. So that's what I've done. I've not done an analysis. Gold Biz I've been buying, but that time only the gold Biz was available, and I thought I don't want to have too many different AMC's ETFs. That's why I did. And I don't know why I selected HDFC Silver ETF when I bought on Akshay Tritiya on 30th April. I don't know. I can't recollect now what was the reason, but I must have done my own analysis, and I don't let me buy it. So I'm doing that, sir. Silver ETF, HDFC Silver ETF, and Nippon Gold Biz Gold ETF. Manisha, can Market Mojo team come out with the single stock for Diwali Muhurat trade? I'm aware that you can speak on and give a stock specific advice. Maybe the investment committee of Market Mojo can consider this and just Diwali to Muhurat by to its investor advice. Thank you, Manisha. Ma'am, a great suggestion. We are too late actually because maybe Monday you are saying. So to be very honest with you, I don't want to say okay, we'll consider and we'll come back to you. The answer is no. We will not be able to do that actually. Our investment committee, in fact, there are not many members available in the investment committee. They are all traveling or on leave. So what is funny thing which has happened, the Saturday, Sunday we are not working. Monday we are working, but we are again not working on Tuesday and Wednesday. So 5 दिन actually 5 दिन का छुट्टी है, तो some of our investment committee team are traveling or on leave. तो वो होने नहीं वाला है. तो मनीषा जी नहीं होने वाला है. I'm sorry. If you at all you want to do it, Monday Jason will come with a stock of the week. Maybe you can consider that as a muhurat buy. If not, that's not comfortable with you. Maybe you can look at the Mojo stock, and which has the highest score. Maybe you can use that as a muhurat buy to do that. Of course, one don't ask me what I'm going to buy on muhurat buys. Padma ji, happy Deepawali, thank you. What's your view on IT sector vis-a-vis AI in the coming years? I think I just gave the answer. I don't see a very bright future for all IT companies because many will be very, very struggling to do AI, so they will not be able to do well. Some maybe, but they may be outliers. There will be more of an exception than the rule. So I'm not bullish, ma'am, at this point of time. Abhishek sir, it was great to meet you today in person. Oh, thanks a lot, Abhishek ji. Thanks for coming and taking time out all the way and meet us in our office. What if I want to start new investment today? Should I open new model portfolio, select mojo stocks with the top this one? So Abhishek sir, I always love portfolio approach. The reason I prefer portfolio approach because it takes care of your market cap allocation based on your risk appetite, the stock allocation, and the sector allocation. When you look at the mojo stocks top rating, then it would not be taken care of market cap, it would not be taken care of sector allocation, so on and so forth. I always tell investors, the the people, those who make money and those who don't make money in the market, the main ingredient in that, the someone taking a portfolio approach who makes money and someone taking a stock approach who don't make money. Why? Because then your allocation to one particular stock may be a little higher and so on and so forth. And if that company does not do well, you end up losing big time money. And hence I always suggest take portfolios. I would suggest to open a new model portfolio. Jayant sir, thank you once again for your valuable advice. Based on your past inputs, I made over 50% profit in Silver ETF. Book profit. Wish you and Mehmet to a very happy Diwali. Jayant sir, so nice of you. Happy to hear that. In fact, as Abhishek sir was saying, there was another gentleman who came down to our office today. And he said, and even Abhishek was also part of that conversation. He confessed to us, because of Markets Mojo, he could buy a flat. The profit he made post-COVID, he could buy a flat in Bombay, 3 BHK in Ghatkopar. So I'm very happy, sir, you made 50% profit. Sir, our job is to guide you. Sometimes people don't follow, they don't make money. If they follow, they make money. Of course, we can go wrong also. We are not God, actually, am I right? The way my 2021 script did not work for next 1 year, next Diwali, but eventually it did work. So, and I'll tell you one thing. Everyone in Markets Mojo come with a very, very genuine and honest advice without any agenda. We will, you can see on our webinar. We will tell you exactly what we are willing to do in our personal portfolio. तो हम लोग का वो नहीं होता कि हम लोग को बोलने की बात अलग होती है, करने की बात अलग होती है. We do exactly what we advise you to do, and that's why reason, that's the way it works actually. Yes, next question, please. Raja sir is saying, please mention top 3 to be best performing sector till next Deepawali. Thank you, sir. Williams. Okay. Since you have asked me, and I think some of others also ask a very similar question, this is my personal view. This is not Markets Mojo view, this is not Markets Mojo AMC view. BFSI, consumption, and the cement. Bharat sir is saying, what is the meaning of mark to market? Sir, mark to market is nothing but, sir, what price you bought and what is the present value to that. That is called mark to market. तो उस प्राइस को एडजस्ट कर लिया प्रेजेंट मार्केट. सो प्रॉफिट है या लॉस है. नॉर्मली मार्क टू मार्केट नॉर्मली डन ऑन द लॉसेस. सो दैट मीन्स आपने 100 में लिया 80 है तो मार्क टू मार्केट इज 20% आपने डिक्लाइन दिखा दिया तो 80 रुपया कर दिया. दैट इज कॉल्ड मार्क टू मार्केट. Ashish sir, namaste ji. Nice presentation. Like the new format, your recommendation on sectors for next month. Which sub factors? Consumption. What's your recommended ratio of large, mid, and small cap portfolio? Too many questions, sir. So I did give my sectors. Within consumption, I think I like FMCG. Disclaimer: I do have FMCG in my portfolio. BFSI I said cement and the consumption team. Large, mid, and small cap. If the market is going to do well and if your risk appetite is a little higher, go for small cap little higher. Then little lower than compared to small caps and mid cap, और उससे थोड़ा कम large cap. If you think no, I am a little conservative investor, then higher allocation to large cap. See sir, क्या होता है आशीष sir, in webinar like this, every investor has a different risk appetite, and hence one size doesn't fit all. So depending upon your risk appetite, you need to see what you need to do that. Now, since you mentioned about the presentation, I must tell you this presentation done by AI. And so, as I told you, that the kind of the markets mojo, as I was saying, that's why I'm not very sure what will happen to the IT services sector, because AI is going to be, everyone is starting. In fact, the other day my daughter was asking me and saying that, Papa, I want to use Perplexity AI. I'm subscribing to it. And I told her, we are using Cloud AI. Please explore that also. You please explore Chat GPT also and see which one is better before you. So even kids have started using AI now in this one. So I think it's a huge productivity benefit that we are going to see because of that. So thanks a lot for liking our presentation format. थोड़ा एक्सटेंड करेंगे बसीर. हाँ, ओ सर आनंद सर, नो आई डोंट थिंक इट इज बॉटम आउट सर. नो, IT is not, I don't think it's yet bottom out. I think we'll see one more, either there will be a time correction or price correction. Muthuswamy Deyason sir, has the bull run started in the equity market? The answer is yes. We have made a very nice base for this market to do extremely well. And hence, yes, my answer to your question is yes. So last 5 सवाल ले ले. तो ये 5वां है, चौथा, तीसरा, 2 और 1. हाँ, Vikram Singh sir, you often say that don't believe in buy and hold strategy, and markets mojo also churn too frequent. Then how can we hold for long term? Brilliant question. I was waiting for this question to come, and I'm happy, sir, you raised this question. That means it shows that our people, those who attend the webinars, are attentive. I made a statement. Reason for you to buy that company, the reason should not have changed. In markets mojo, the reason to buy the company is based on IP. And if reason to sell is also IP, so you get out of that. The 3 companies that I talked about in 2021 Diwali portfolio, the reason why I bought is not undergone the change only for which I bought it. And that's the reason I still continue to hold that company. The day I change it, I'll get out of that company. Am I right, sir? So that's why, to what you should do, Vikram Singh sir, when you buy a company in your personal portfolio, suppose you followed someone's advice, then you should follow that, ask that expert only, should I exit or not? Or he has given you the reason why he's recommended that company. Then you should jot it down on a piece of paper on your mobile or wherever and keep ticking every 3 months or 6 months whether the reason continues to hold true or not. And if the answer is yes, please continue to hold that company. Then only it can become a multi-bagger. Am I right? The reason to exit is when these reasons are no longer true. Then please get out of that company. That's what you should be doing it. Padma ji, what is your view on Indian company, IT company entering chip business? There will be losses initially. It's not going to be easy, and chip business is very highly, it calls for a lot of R&D and other things. So you need to be a little top of the curve. So normally the money is made by topmost player, not this one. So we are taking a baby steps. It's a good business with a long gestation. It's not going to be a very profitable business from day one. Double A. What is the meaning of have only gold and silver in physical form and actually sold all my and mummy's stocks to make home loan repayment? Could you please tell me, should I sell gold and silver and keep the proceeds from sales for reinvestment? Please hide my name, Mark to Market. What is the meaning of have only gold and silver in physical form? Sir, I'm getting confused. So, In fact, I don't recommend people to buy gold and silver in physical form. I suggesting in ETF form. And sir, why did you sold everything to repay the home loan? In fact, the home loan is the last thing to be repaid. Because 8% में home loan मिलता है सर आपको. Equity buy on an average gives 14 to 15% return. तो क्या मतलब है वो पैसा जो 8% पे मिल रहा है वो 14-15% पे रिटर्न मिलता है. Why do you want to replace an assets class which gives you high returns and repay something which is a low cost of interest? मतलब ही नहीं बनता है ना. जब हम लोग कंपनी एनालिसिस करते हैं तो हम लोग क्या देखते हैं भाई, कंपनी का आरओई क्या है. कंपनी का आरओई 15% है and the cost of borrowing of that company is only 8%. It makes more sense for that company to borrow at 7 to 8% because उसका आरओई 15% है. That means the borrowed money will generate higher delta on that capital employed. Am I right? But वो कंपनी का आरओई 3% है और कंपनी is borrowing at 9-10%, तो नुकसान ही होने वाला. That company should avoid it. The same logic you should also apply in this. So I don't know why you do that. And could you please tell me, should I sell the gold and silver and keep proceeds from sales for reinvestment? AA sir, I think I am not able to articulate my thoughts well. Your assets allocation to the gold and silver should be 15%. If it is not 15%, there is no reason why you should basically sell gold and silver. If it is above 15%, then bring it down to 15%. And that proceed you can invest in the equity market. I hope it's clear. If you are not clear, please reach out to me. I'll be more than happy to, we can talk over the phone or Zoom. Please write to us and I'll be more than happy to help you, sir, in this. But I think you made a very big mistake of repaying the home loan repayment. I will never ever repay home loan. Never ever. Because वो 8% में मिल रहा है, कौन सा लोन 8% में मिलता है. मेरा मार्केट में 14-15% मिनिमम दे देगा ऑन एन एवरेज. ऑफ कोर्स देयर विल नन इन नेगेटिव, सम डेज इट कैन गो डाउन आल्सो, 14% तो मिलेगा ना. अभी आप सोच लो, चलो लास्ट ईयर व्हाट हैज बीन एक्सट्रीमली चैलेंजिंग ईयर, एम आई राइट. Sensex has given 6% return. If I add 1.5% of dividend yield, 7.5% मेरा बन गया. Still I am not worst off, but versus this one. And if next year market gives me 18-19% return, मेरा तो काम हो गया. So everyone in this webinar, attending webinar, never ever made a mistake of what we call repaying their home loan. I have now only gold and silver in physical form. Okay, sorry. Now we are seeing. Bought them many years ago, and I actually sold all my mummy stocks to make home loan repayment. Could you please tell me, should I sell gold and silver and keep proceeds from? Okay, I now got it. So you have only gold and silver in physical form. Sir, 15% से नीचे है, ऊपर है तो बेचो थोड़ा बहुत. Bring it down to 15%. Others keep it. But in future, please buy gold and silver in ETF format. Raja sir, only index is being managed. However, our portfolio considering premium amount of sell and midcap is still showing marginal profits. Do we continue to hold the same or switching over to large cap? Please guide. Thanks to you so much, William Chan. As I said, sir, I do expect small cap by next Diwali would be better as compared to mid cap, and mid cap better than the large cap. If your risk appetite is good and you really invested, don't do that. Please maintain that ratio of highest small followed by mid and then the large. Last question ले लो, 5 हो गया. एक last question, sorry, I did not mention that this will be the last question, sorry, my apology. ले लेंगे, है बसीर? नहीं है? Okay, so thanks a lot everyone for attending this webinar. Once again, happy Diwali to everyone, you and everyone in your family, near and dear one. Please enjoy Diwali because the next Diwali is going to be make a lot of money. So don't be so depressed कि market नहीं चला है तो दिवाली में खर्चा कम करना है. Go out, spend money. What you spend today, you'll be able to spend much more by next Diwali. Be optimistic. Indian equity market is poised for a big run, big bull run. Good night. Take care. See you next year in new Samvat year.